All right, another edition of Josh's Quick Hits. Just want to kid on a few things with all of you today. First of all, the MLB trade deadline has come and gone, and the real winner in the whole thing, and probably is going to win the World Series at this point, is the Houston Astros. They went from having two of the best pitchers in baseball to now three. They added Zach Greinke at the very last minute before the deadline hit. I mean, what a move by the Astros. You go out, you get this great pitcher, you add him to two other great pitchers, and you add more depth behind him by getting Aaron Sanchez from the Blue Jays. The Astros looked around the rest of the league and said, we can win the World Series again. And we're going to do whatever it takes to do so. And frankly, if they do, you could argue that they could win even more after this year because they are still a young baseball team. Garrett Cole, not old. George Springer, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Alex Bregman. Really the only quote-unquote old guys on the roster are, at this point, Verlander and Greinke, and even both of those guys have at least a couple more good years in them. So, incredible move by the Astros. Another good move before the deadline was the Atlanta Braves. Desperately need a bullpen help. Their bullpen has been imploding lately. They want to hold the National League East, so what do? They go out and get Shane Greene from the Tigers, one of the best young pitchers in all of baseball, on top of having more arms. They added Melanson from the Giants. Braves did the job. Astros got it done. Phillies, well, we got to touch on the Phillies. I'm taking a break from watching the Phillies right now to talk to all of you. The Phillies lack aggression in season. This is the second straight year. Remember, I told you last year they went out and they got Aaron Loop and Wilson Ramos. What do they do this year? Corey Dickerson, good player. Not a great player, but a very good, solid baseball player. Outfielder, though, not a pitcher. That's pretty much it. They got Jason Vargas, good pitcher, not great pitcher. They signed Drew Smiley. He's not going to be this dominant all season, rest of the season long. It's just not going to happen. So I feel like the Phillies front office, they're content with not giving up their top prospects like Alec Bohm. I don't think the organization understands that there's going to be a massive blowback by this fan base if Alec Bohm doesn't turn out to be something great. Alec Bohm better be the next Scott Rowland or the next Chase Utley if you're going to go out there and not give him up in this trade market in a National League that realistically is wide open. It's not like the Braves and Dodgers are unbeatable. You can beat those teams. You can win the National League if you have the pitching. Well, the Phillies don't have the pitching. They have good enough pitching to get them to the postseason, but they don't have good enough pitching to get to the World Series and advance past the Dodgers and the Braves right here, right now. Aaron Nola pitched better last year. Someone's going to figure out Drew Smiley. Vargas is a solid but not great pitcher. Jake Arrieta, he's got bone spurs in his elbow. What is he going to do? What made teams like the 2008 and 1980 Phillies great and why they won the World Series? Because they had multiple players who were the best in baseball at their positions. Ryan Howard in 2008, Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, Cole Hamels, Brad Lidge. All five of those guys were among the best in baseball at their positions. You go back to the 1980 team, Mike Schmidt, Pete Rose, Steve Carlton. Guys who were among the best in baseball at their position. Realistically, Bryce Harper is basically in the top 6 in the National League because all the outfielders in the National League feel like they're all kind of bunched together. There's no real super elite outfielders as much in the National League as much as there is in the American League. JT Realmuto is probably the second or third best catcher in baseball, but okay, he's not having a great elite season. He's having a good season. It's an all-star, but not an elite season. Rhys Hoskins, he's baseball and walks, but no one thinks he's one of the 5 best first basemen in baseball. Nobody thinks Gene Segura is one of the 5 best shortstops in baseball. Nobody thinks that the Phillies have this collection of players who are all among the best in baseball at their positions. And that's a big reason why the Phillies are not going to win a championship this year. And furthermore, why this organization needed to be more aggressive, unless they just are kicking the can down the road the next year. And that's the case, they just come out and say that. Their obsession with holding on to their top prospects is going to bite them hard. It's going to blow up in their face if Alec Bohm and these other guys don't turn out to be great players. All right, the third thing I want to get to real quick before I let you all go, Mike Thomas. Huge contract. Congratulations to him. $100 million deal. Highest paid wide receiver in the NFL right now. Mike Thomas's deal, though, is also the reason why the other guys could keep holding out. Ezekiel Elliott with the Cowboys. Melvin Gordon with the Chargers. Ngakoue with the Jaguars. Jadeveon Clowney has a franchise tag. Hasn't signed a long-term deal with the Texans. The reason why guys like that are not getting the deals they want is because they don't understand their true value. When the Rams gave Todd Gurley his massive contract, and then he gets injured last year, and they still got to the Super Bowl, thanks to the efforts of C.J. Anderson, a good defense, and Jared Goff with Sean McVay navigating through the postseason. They didn't get to the Super Bowl because of Todd Gurley. For Melvin Gordon and Ezekiel Elliott, you can hold out for as long as you want, but you're not going to get the money you think you should get. You're not going to reset the market or destroy the market because you're on teams that have to pay other players. Ezekiel Elliott on the Cowboys, he plays with two guys that still need to get paid. Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott. If you're Jerry Jones, I know Ezekiel Elliott is arguably the most important player, but you have to build around your quarterback. And you got to pay the quarterback because the quarterbacks in the NFL have longer careers than running backs. Running backs, because of the beating they take, because of the style of play, because of what they're asked to do, they take more of a beating. They have shorter careers. Quarterbacks are protected. They don't take the hits that the running back does on play in and play out. They have longer careers, less damage. You got to pay the quarterback. You got to take care of the quarterback. The running back has a short window, whether it's 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, whatever it may be. It's a much shorter window than the quarterback. And the wide receiver showed Amari Cooper how important he is to Dak Prescott last season. Melvin Gordon's on a team where, let's be realistic, they're going to have to pay other guys eventually. Joey Bosa's coming up on his contract. They got to make a decision about Phillip Rivers. He's coming to the end of his career. Do they re-sign him or do they go out and get another quarterback? The Chargers can't overcommit all their money to a running back who's been injured. Melvin Gordon has not been the healthiest player in the NFL. Also, Ezekiel Elliott. He hasn't been on the field. Why? Because of the suspensions. He has off-the-field troubles. Mike Thomas does not have off-the-field troubles. Mike Thomas does not have an injury history. Mike Thomas did not sign a contract that it disables his franchise, does not hold them back, does not cripple them from being able to sign other guys. Ngakoue, great defensive player, but he's on a team with a bunch of great defensive players. What makes him so much better? How do we know that Ngakoue isn't great because he's surrounded by great players? Can he be great on his own if he was the best player on the team? We don't know. Jadeveon Clowney. The Texans put him in a position where basically they are telling him that they don't value him as much as he values himself in the NFL. When you put the designated franchise tag, like the Texans did, with the ambiguous linebacker / defensive end, they're already telling you that you're not worth as much as you think you are. So you have 4 players who think they're more valuable than they really are. Clowney, Elliott, Gordon, and Ngakoue think that their worth is more than the team's willing to pay them. And at the end of the day, unless you can prove that you are worth that much money, you are only worth the amount of money a team's willing to pay you, not the amount of money that you think you're willing to get paid. That's what we saw in baseball free agency. That's what we saw with Mike Thomas's contract. And that's what's going to happen with the other 4 until those players and their agents get to a point where they can agree with the franchise about their true value. They're going to overvalue themselves to the point where they're going to miss games. And we saw what happened last year with Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell took the risk, sat out the entire season, and what happened? He got less money in free agency from the Jets than he would have gotten from the Steelers in the first place. Thanks a lot for watching this edition of my Quick Hits, and I'll catch you next time.